Hi everyone, my name is Augusto Ariano and my presentation will be based on privacy in the workplace. Now I chose to do this topic because it's pretty controversial in terms of ethics and I believe many people can relate to it one way or another. So as for privacy, when it comes to privacy, many people can relate to this term, as keeping their personal lives or actions secret or confidential to themselves. There's generally a very high value placed on privacy, and most people respect each other's privacy. When web developers design their websites, they also take private information into consideration. Most social media sites, such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and so on, have a multitude of privacy features that help keep their users feeling a little bit more comfortable every time they log into the website. Some of these features include options such as features that limit who can view what you post, your pictures, or who you're friends with, even. So, where does privacy take place? People generally do whatever it takes to keep their personal information or actions private. Many people have different ways of doing this, such as keeping important documents in safes, keeping their data on hard drives or USBs, and maybe even in deposit boxes at a bank. Today, some people go as far as to even encrypt all their tax information, for example, and keep it in hidden folders or partitions on their computer. People also store a lot of information on their cell phones, and this is most likely because everyone keeps their cell phone very close by, and cell phones have many mechanisms to help their users keep unwanted people out of the phone itself. These mechanisms include passcodes or fingerprint verifications. As for the workplace, the work environment is seen as a public and open area most times. Employees don't really own any of the property here unless, of course, they brought it themselves for their own use, such as their own laptops and cell phones. And even then, they may be connecting to Wi-Fi that they don't have full control over. On the other hand, managers and employers probably have full access to these Wi-Fis um, that are the company Wi-Fis. It's their property, and it's argued that they could do whatever they want with it. Today, most companies and businesses supply their employees with desktops or laptops, and sometimes even work phones and company vehicles for work intended purposes only. When privacy meets the workplace. So, when privacy meets the workplace, there are many complications. This occurs when employees decide to bring their personal matters and information or actions into the place that they work. Um, it also happens when employees to choose to make calls involving private information that they're exchanging while they're at work. Also, by going off task and searching for vacation plans or even new jobs while on their own job. To observe what employees are doing while they work, managers most of the time implement devices such as cameras to monitor their employees' actions or even use GPS devices to keep track of mobile employees such as delivery drivers or truck drivers. Now, as for the ethics on privacy in the workplace, it's argued that employees, in fact, know exactly that employers should know how their property is being used, and managers have a right to know what their employees are doing while on the job. With that being said, they should have the right to know how their equipment is being used and handled on a daily basis. Employees should be only using the workstations and equipment for its intended purposes anyway. Now, when it comes to privacy in the workplace, there are also unethical practices that have been seen in both employees and in employers. It is unethical for employees to handle their personal matters while working. Employees are not getting paid to schedule their doctor's appointments or make Friday night plans while on the job. They're getting paid to complete their task, which will move the company or organization forward. On the manager's side, it's unethical to use employees' private information against them, such as in an instance of blackmail. An example may be a boss forcing his employee to work longer hours weekly by threatening to release the employee's personal information if they don't. It's also unethical for a manager to follow an employee around town just because they have their GPS coordinates. All these situations that tend to bring tension into the workplace and destroy trust between managers and employees, and it just destroys the relationship. Employees could be made to feel so nervous that they could barely work properly if they are under like constant surveillance by their employers. They may start to work at slower rates or make more mistakes because of all the pressures being asserted onto them. Now, there are some ways that employees could handle privacy while at the workplace. Um, Employees should step out of the office or work area for small amounts of time if if a personal matter comes up that they need to address at that very moment. That's pretty understandable. Employees could also choose to exchange personal information while they're on a lunch break or at work. Or at the office or at home altogether. Employees could also choose to find a work environment where they don't feel that their privacy is being invaded as much. As for my views on this topic, I believe that employers should have the right to monitor their employees, but only for the purposes of making sure that they aren't constantly off task or using devices in any sort of bad way. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you all for watching.